So this is the second part into importing GIS data into Revit. I'm actually gonna now import property lines and other features into Revit so we have a sense of where that stuff is. Luckily Fairfax County has a bunch of ARCGIS feature servers that I can use. So what we can do, and hopefully your location has this data also, but this is actually pretty convenient. I'm going to turn off all of these. Add data, parcels. So let's take a look. Might take a second to load. There we go. And there's also a bunch of others like roads, transportation, I think, roadway center lines, let's try both of those to see. Let's turn off rail. I think it's edge of pavement's going to be one that, yep, edge of pavement, and I don't know if roadways I think is just that center line. So parcels, roadways, and then this driveway also, there's another layer for that, and we'll take a look in QGIS. So this is what we did before by generating vector data. Contours, and then getting vertices and elevations. I'll turn these off. Actually, let me zoom in here a little bit and turn on. I already imported those URLs, but I kind of skipped over that. Let me go back one more time just to show an example. So there's in this add data thing, if I clicked on one of these, I think it was like details, this will take me to the page that explains the layer, and down here there's a URL for the actual service. So this is the ArcGIS REST services directory for this particular layer, and it's a feature layer instead of like a raster, like we're pulling for the aerial photography and OpenStreetMaps. Those are rasters. If we take this URL at the top, this one right here, copy it, go into QGIS. If we did a layer, add ArcGIS feature server, we would click new, add it in here, give it a name, and then hit OK, and then we'd see some stuff come up. And so I've already done that with those before this. I see here transportation, driveways, buildings, A9 I think is parcels. So let me turn off, let me center this a little bit. I'll turn off aerial photography and turn on parcels. Okay. And I will also add in the buildings. And let me add in also driveways. Okay. And did I add roads yet? Nope. Let me add in the roads. Transportation. It's not roadways, it's actually edge of pavement major. There we go. So this is kind of interesting. The property line stops here, and then there's the road doesn't start for several feet. So I'm gonna crop these similar to how I did the contour and the vector data, the elevation data. So under parcels, I'm going to do a vector clipper, clip, overlay layer. It looks like for these I need a clip mask, so let me do that. So in other words, I just need a rectangle that I can use these to clip. I could have also done an export save feature as, and then come down here extent where I use the map canvas extent. I think this requires me to save it to a file though, and I'm kind of, I want to avoid that because I want to merge all these into a single package or a single output file so that I can just import one so everything's nice and centered up. So let's do that. So I'll create a clip layer, clip bounds. It's going to be a polygon. I think the projection is fine. Let me move this to the top. And I'm going to edit this. Toggle editing. I'm going to add a rectangle from extent. Come up here, come all the way down here, and then I'll right click. Just give it a 0 ID. Let me change the style of this. Pixels with a no brush fill, and let's just make it black. Okay. And zoom to layer. All right, so we see that on the background, or on the outside there. So this is kind of a tedious part, but what we can do now is do a vector clip. So we're going to clip the input layer, which is parcels. We're going to use our clip bounds as an overlay layer, and then hit run. So I can turn off parcels, get rid of that. So here's our parcels. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the clip layer in terms of setting it to pixels, making it black with no fill, and also changing this to one pixel for the stroke. I'm going to rename this to parcels. My clip bounds up. Buildings, same sort of deal. Again, this is kind of a little bit of a tedious thing. Buildings, overlay layer, clip bounds. I'm going to run this, close, rename to buildings. I'm going to change this to black, pixels. I'm going to make this no brush and 1 pixel for the stroke width. And I will move this up here. I'll remove buildings because we don't need that anymore. Next up is driveways. Actually, I just realized that I think because it's this paved driveway here. Let me set that to black, turn that on. There it is. Okay. So we do have that. All right, so I'm going to clip driveways next, actually. Vector, clip. Let me use clip bounds as the... Okay. I'm going to remove those driveways. I'm going to change the style similar to the others. Again, part of the tedious part of trying to fuse all of these together. No brush, 1. And then the last one is roads. Vector, clip, clip bounds, edge of pavement mailer. Okay. Let me turn off roads. Rename that to roads. Last one. Okay, so this is what we were after. So I'm going to merge all of these except for the clip bounds. So I'm going to merge all 4 of these, export it, and then import it into Revit, and we'll have a single deal. So we can go to vector. There is a merge vector layers. I'm going to do buildings, roads, driveways, and parcels. Okay. Run that. Same sort of deal. Now I only have to do it once here. No brush. Okay. Let me turn all of these off. So what we have is a single layer that has all the features. Kind of interesting, the property line actually goes through the road or the driveway. I mean, according to this isn't the most accurate thing. It doesn't replace using a surveyor, but it helps to get a little bit of a sense of what's going on. So from this merge thing, I can actually export this as a AutoCAD DXF. I'm going to call it merged features. Okay. Again, the locations or the projection, I'm going to use that. I don't need to save this to a map. And that should be it. So if we go into Revit now, I'm going to go into level 1, insert, import CAD, merged features. This is way too big. And just to, actually, let's do this. Let me click on this, explode it. Okay. One thing I want to do is edit type. I need to turn off all these solid fills. It's weird that even though we did it in QGIS, that still have to do it again in here. Okay. So I want to see actually if the topographic stuff lined up well. Kind of hard to see. I don't think layer 1 anyway, maybe after I add the property line we'll be able to see it. So in terms of adding the property line, now we can click on this. We'll create by sketching. I'm going to use this pick lines feature, and if I hold down and hit tab, it actually does the entire thing. So I can tab through instead of picking those lines individually. And the other thing I want to do is, let me finish that off. And in site now, you see I have the property line. Let me go back into 3D. Wireframe. Nope, still can't see if I'm overlaid properly. So, let's see, what else can we do here? Let's try adding some model lines. I'm going to add some model lines for the home. Same sort of deal, pick lines. Is this now going to be in 3D? There it is. Okay. So it looks like it lines up okay. And I'm going to do some model lines for the site also. Model line. Model line. Yep, I just did this. Let's try this again. Model line, modify pick lines. There we go. Click on that, and we'll go back into 3D. And so we can see the, I don't know if you can or can't see it, but it's there in the background. So you see things kind of line up pretty well. And at least if we go back into the map, we can see that the home kind of backs up on this ridge and it just drops down. And similar to what I just did with that, in terms of adding those lines, we can add also, because this imports on level 1, I've got to figure out how to show level 1's data on the site plan, but we can actually click on annotate. Let me see if this will show up. Detailed lines, hidden lines, pick lines, and we can select the entire road. Wireframe, nope, still doesn't show up. So I'll actually use model lines again. This kind of sucks. I think there's a way to show these level 1 lines in the site plan. I just haven't figured it out yet. We'll go back into site. Okay. And in 3D, this is what's kind of neat, is we can now trace out this road. So what I can do is go into massing and site, do a subregion, pick lines again. Doesn't seem like it wants to do the entire thing. Nope. Well, it's gonna suck if I have to do every single one of these. I guess let's just do a quick example. Let's see if it went already all the way down there. Oh, now it's doing the whole thing. Let me cancel that. For whatever reason, I can't seem to get it to accept the entire thing. Subregion, pick lines. Yeah. Well, that's a big enough area. Let's try in here. All right, let's just close these off. We'll at least get some form of road. All right, so for in 3D, we add in consistent colors. Sorry, realistic. I think this is below the actual 3D surface. Oh, no, it's there. Let me change the style. This didn't work before when I was trying to change it to grass, but let's try making this asphalt. Duplicate as ASP, and then the appearance. Let's try to make this asphalt. Yeah, asphalt. I thought I saw a Yeah, that still isn't looking any better. And I wonder if it's because it's nighttime. Nope, everything looks good there. Okay, anyway, it's because grass didn't work. I'm not sure why this is not rendering properly. There we go. There's grass. Huh. I just needed to click it a couple times. So you could actually do same sort of deal with the site. If I go back to wireframe and say I want to trace out this for the building pad, I could do a pick lines. It's weird how that works sometimes, but doesn't others. Bam. No, looks like I'm missing one. This little piece right here. Is this a problem? Oh. That's missing. Cannot overlap. Maybe there's multiple lines there. And there are. Okay. I'll go back into 3D here. Realistic. This is obviously way too far down. As you can see, the level 1 elevation is way too low. I'll actually see if I can go through and just change this real quick. Let me make level 1 much higher up. I'm going to delete level 2 actually. We don't need it right now. Alright, let's go back to 3D. That's a little better. I'm sure it's still way too far down. But this would be an example of laying down, like at least the pad for the foundation. What is that? Oh, that's just the line for the actual level. So anyway, and we actually didn't do the driveway too, but it's a similar process to laying out a subregion for the roadway. It goes like that. I'll have to do some. I think I can do this. No, I can't. I need to actually convert this. Maybe there's a way to actually convert these into model lines immediately when you do the full import. Okay, so that's good. In 3D now I should be able to see the driveway. I can actually manage or massing in site, turn this into a subregion. Same deal, pick lines. It's going to suck if I can't. There we go. Just have to click the. So here. Oh, it went all the way around. Oh, that sucks. Let's try that one more time. Subregion, pick lines. Yeah, it went around the entire house. Let's go into top. Let's zoom in. Click on that. Okay, there we go. Let's go back into realistic. So now we've got a driveway. Looks like it. Oh, let me fix that. Yeah, so now we've got a driveway there that follows the actual contour of the topography. And if we went to level 1, we could at this point, start drawing our walls. Architecture wall, generic 8-inch. We can do a pick lines. Nope. Height, let's make this 10 feet. That kind of sucks how it goes all the way around. Let me just, nope, still won't do that. All right. It sucks how that tab doesn't work for. Because the last thing I want to do is have overlapping lines or duplicate walls in the same place. Oh, there's a little section right there. Interesting. Okay. Let's go back into 3D. So we see that there's some walls there. And it looks like level 1 is still 2. It's still too low. Let's actually change this to, let's go 375. Let's see if that helps out a lot. There we go. Yep. Now we actually have walls that come out of the ground. And you can see that in the east profile. We've got a bunch of walls there. All right. So anyway, some quick and dirty ways to get GIS data and even county-based ARCGIS feature data into Revit to start with getting a plan in place. And that's it. Thanks.